Hello. Today we're going to start talking about volume and surface area of pyramids. So, there are three main types of pyramids that we're going to be dealing with: square pyramids, triangular pyramids, and hexagonal pyramids, all of which we're going to talk about having regular bases. So all these are regular shapes, but today we're just going to talk about our square pyramids. So, here we have a square pyramid. So if this side is 12, that means that this side over here is also 12. Now, to do this, we're going to need lots of different information. One thing we're going to need is the perimeter of our base. We will also need the area of our base. And we'll need to know the height of our pyramid. So all three of these things were things that we needed when we had prisms. We also need them for pyramids, but we need one more thing when we talk about surface area of a pyramid, and that is that we need the slant height. Now the slant height is the height of one side of the pyramid, whereas the height of the pyramid is from the center of the base to the vertex of the pyramid. So we need to figure out what our slant height is. Well, we do know that our height is 8. The perimeter, that would just be 12 times 4. And so 12 times 4 gives me 48. The area of my base, well, that would just be 12 times 12. Or 12 squared, which is 144. And now for the slant height piece. So, if this is 12, and this is in the center, that must mean that this is 6. And so I'm going to go ahead and just draw this triangle out here to the side. I know that it's a right triangle because of my right angle here. And we know that this is 8, and this is 6. And this is where we're going to have to lean on Pythagorean theorem. Okay? We're going to have to lean on some Pythagorean theorem to figure out what this is. So, just as a reminder, Pythagorean theorem: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so we have 8 squared plus 6 squared. That's going to give me 100. When I take the square root of 100, that's going to give me 10. And so I know that this is 10, which means that my slant height is also 10. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and get to work. So our surface area, we're going to start with the lateral area. Now the lateral area is the area of all the sides of my pyramid, not counting the base. So, the formula for that on your formula chart is 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. Because these are triangles, if I take the base times the height of the triangle and divide by 2, I find the area of that one triangle. And so that's why this differs from the prism, is because I have to multiply by half, because I'm not dealing with rectangles, I'm dealing with triangles. So I can rewrite that as 48 times 10 divided by 2, which would give me 240. So I have a lateral area of 240. For my total surface area, I'm going to take this lateral area and I'm going to add the base. Now on a prism we had 2 bases. For a pyramid I only have 1, which means that this is 240 plus the area of my base, which was 144, gives me a total surface area of 384. And so that's the area that I need to write over here, 384. 4. One last piece on that one, that would be the volume. And the volume of a pyramid is going to equal 1/3 the area of the base times the height of the pyramid. Now the 1/3 comes from the fact that if this is a pyramid, we're missing part of it. It's not a prism, so it's going to be less than that. And through mathematicians figuring it out, we've determined that it is 1/3 the area of the base and the height. I'm not going to go into why, at least not in this video. So this is the formula from the formula chart. So now I can go ahead and the area of the base is 48. The height is 8. And this time I'm going to divide by 3. 48 times 8 divided by 3. And that's going to give me 384. Now, this is a very odd occurrence that the volume and the surface area are the same, but it does happen sometimes if you have a pyramid that is just right. So that is the surface area and volume of a square pyramid. Let's quickly work through just one more example. Now this example is drawn poorly. You'll notice that this is in fact a right angle. It says that down here, but I want to just emphasize that. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw my height triangle over here. And let's go ahead and figure out this piece. Well, if this is 16, that means that my halfway point would be 8. My slant height is 10. And now I need to find the height of my pyramid. Looking at these two numbers, I can do Pythagorean theorem again, but I notice that they are the same as over here, with the 8 and the 10 is the hypotenuse, and so I know that my other side must be 6. And so we're going to go ahead and just put 6 here. And again, you can test it with the Pythagorean theorem if you'd like. So let's go ahead and work this out. The perimeter. Well, this time, since it's 16, we do 16 times 4. And 16 times 4 gives me 64. The area of my base, well, that would be 16 times 16. And that gives me an area of 256. The height of my prism, we've discovered, was 6. And the slant height over here happens to be 10. Now, for the lateral area, remember that is 1/2 of the perimeter times the slant height. So my perimeter is 64 times my slant height of 10 divided by 2 gives me a lateral area of 320. The total surface area would be the 320 plus the area of my base, which is 64, gives me 384. Sorry, not the 64, the 256. Because I don't want my perimeter, I want the area of my base, the 256. Which gives me 576. And then my volume is 1/3 the area of the base times the actual height, V equals 1/3 BH. And so if I type that in, I would get that my volume is 512. So the surface area of 576 and the volume of 512. And so that is finding the volume and surface area of square pyramids.